Hey guys, welcome back to Mimi's Way of Life. Today we're in the kitchen with Mimi, and I am making the recipe I posted on Instagram the other day. It is my zucchini protein bread. I've made it into muffins also, and you've seen that on this channel also, but I'm going to actually show you how to make it today. And it is kind of a smush together of like the keto 90-second bread and then adding some other stuff to it. So let's get started, I guess. Yeah. So I'm going to show you what you need. First, in this bowl, we're going to put our dry ingredients. And the dry ingredients is going to be 1/4 cup of almond flour, and 1 scoop of the, let's see if I can get it in there, 1 scoop of the Quest protein powder, the unflavored. That's what I'm using this time. I have made it with the like cinnamon crunch one, and I mean that's okay, it's good, but I like being able to season it myself if I'm going to make like a zucchini bread, like full-on zucchini bread, a sweet bread. But we're going to use 1 scoop of this. Oh, I can close it. All right. Then we're going to use 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Move my knife out of the way. The sweetener I'm not going to add right now. That gets added to the butter and eggs. That doesn't go in with the dry mix. So then we've got 1/8 teaspoon of pink Himalayan salt or sea salt, whichever you have. All right, now that I'm going to fork mix together. Now at this point, if I was making actual zucchini bread, like the sweet bread that you traditionally know, I would be adding anywhere from about 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon to the dry mix. I don't add that in with the sweetener. So I would put that in with the dry mix. All right, so that is all well and incorporated together there. So we're going to set this guy off to the side now. We don't need anything else in there right now. We are going to treat it for this guy here. I just find that with the coolness of the stainless steel pan or bowl, whatever, that it kind of helps cool the butter down enough to where I can add the eggs to it quicker. So I'm going to take my little tiny spatula and 2 tablespoons of melted butter. And I'm just going to put that right in the bowl. I'm going to scrape out everything because if I'm counting that fat, I'm going to eat it, right? I feel like Paula Deen with the butter. All right. Next, we are going to add 2 tablespoons of Lakanto Golden. You can use the non-golden. I use the golden because it just kind of gives it almost like a sweet, it reminds me of the King's Hawaiian rolls, like the bread, the buns. So that's why we've been using it as burger buns, and it's really delicious. So today I'm actually going to be making these for my husband and I, and we're going to be having our egg salad on it. But So 2 tablespoons of this directly to the butter. Now, if I was making the zucchini bread, I would probably add more sweetener here and some vanilla, but I'm not adding vanilla today, and that's the amount of sweetener I'm using. So per serving, it's just 1 tablespoon of sweetener. And that is plenty, and it is delicious. It's also not overdoing it. All right, so I'm gonna mix this up. Actually, I'm gonna whisk it a little. See if I can show you. And adding the sweetener also does kind of temper the hot melted butter. So it's also been melted for a while enough to where it's cool enough I can just add the eggs. But normally you'd want to kind of temper that in, add it real slow, 1 egg at a time. But we are using 3 full eggs. Ooh, that's a tough one. Oh, that one was not. All right. Rinse off my hands real quick here, because ew. All right, now I'm gonna whisk these bad boys in. Get them nice and fluffy, because that's gonna help with the air bubbles and making the bread nice and fluffy and not super heavy and flat. And this bread is really not super eggy tasting. And the texture is not horrible. It's actually really good. So it's pretty quick and easy to whip up. I just do it daily. You could pre-make them and keep them in the, like cut them in slices or whatever. I have not made it in a loaf pan. Not sure how the cooking time would be on that. All right. So now to this, let me get that out of the way. We're going to add our dry mix. There we go. All right, and we're gonna just kind of slowly, so that we don't send any powder or flours flying, slowly kind of get it in there real quick. And just gonna get that nice and mixed up there. Sorry, I'm trying to get it to where you guys can see it and it's not making a horrible racket, but whatever, right? It is what it is. All right, so that's nice and mixed in. At this point, we are going to, I don't grate my stuff ahead of time. I'm doing approximately a 1/4 cup of grated zucchini, and I just kind of grate mine into the bowl. I eyeball it, so it's up to you. So I mean, macros for this is going to be, just kind of depends on how much you're adding of whatever, for the zucchini and what brands you use for ingredients. But I just kind of go until I like what it looks like. I do a little bit on this heavy grater side. Get all that off in there. Oh, and yes, I did wash my hands previous to starting, so. Not to mention it's for me and my husband, so whatever. Alright, so that's about as much as I'm putting in for the big grated stuff. And then I'm going to head down to the little grates and get some of those in there, because this makes it finer of the grate, obviously, but it also helps to almost get some more of the juices out. And you need that when doing a protein type of a bread. Even with the 3 eggs in it, it can get really dry and super spongy. So this makes it more bread-like. And that's why even when I'm making just regular burger buns and I'm not making the zucchini bread, and in the future when I possibly add blueberries and make blueberry muffins out of it, I'm still going to be adding the zucchini. So, because it's a real mild flavor, you usually don't taste it all that much. And it is super moisturizing to where it is going to give your bread a super great texture. So I want a little bit more of that. So far that's what I have. It's really not quite even a quarter of a cup. So I'm just gonna keep adding a little bit more. You ever have those moments where like you're thinking about someone and not like, oh, thinking about you, but like, you know, I haven't seen this person in a while. And I mean like literally like weeks. That person I was just thinking about going, I wonder where this person is. Just pulled away, like was just here. How weird is that, right? I was just thinking about that person today. Anyway, okay, enough about my psychic adventures. All right, I'm gonna call that good. Rinse this off. I hate it when the food gets stuck in these little grates. It's so hard to clean out when it's dried on. All right. Now, I'm also going to add, I'm going to start with 1/8 of a cup of cold water. And I'm going to add that into it because it gets super thick. You can probably use even like unsweetened almond milk or like a vanilla almond milk. That would be good for if you're doing the zucchini bread or like a blueberry muffin. But it is also thicker than water, so it may not, you know, you might have to still use a little bit of water in with it. So that's pretty decent. Might add just a touch more. I never add more than 1/4 cup of water. It just depends on the consistency that you like for your batter, but you don't want it too runny to where it's never gonna set up. I mean, it will because, you know, the protein powder is pretty absorby, kind of like coconut flour or xanthan gum. But, all right. So that is all well mixed in, and I'm going to set this down here for a second. Wow, I like threw zucchini everywhere. And let's see, where's my pan? Right here. All right, it is already sprayed with a coconut oil spray, so that way nothing will stick to it. Get everything off the thing here. All right. Now I'm going to, okay. Make sure it was sprayed all over. And I'm just gonna scrape it all down here. Get every last little bit I can. After all, we're counting all the carbs and things, right? We're gonna eat it. All right, and let's see, are you in the frame there? Go here. Unfortunately, I can't zoom when it's on this and still see what's going on, so. All right, just gonna pour that in there. You could even, there's so many possibilities with this that you could do. You could do, like I said, the blueberry bread. You could do a lemon blueberry, lemon poppy seed. And just by adding a little bit of vanilla and some lemon extract and poppy seeds. Some people like the lemon and blueberry together. I do not. I like my blueberries just to be blueberries, but you know, with vanilla, but that's kind of what you do. And then you could do, like the other night I did a chocolate one with adding 2 tablespoons of unsweetened cocoa powder. But if you do that, I learned the hard way the other night. I did not add any extra water or any extra zucchini And I would add probably a little bit of both, because with the cocoa powder, it gets super dry if you just make it like this and add the cocoa powder, vanilla, and sweetener. So, but this is the, let's shake it out here, get it all even. This is the main recipe, and I'm gonna pop it in the oven. I have my oven preheated to 350, and I'm going to cook this for 30 to 35 minutes, and I will bring you back when it comes out of the oven. All right, guys, it has cooked for 30 minutes, and I just took it out of the oven. It's been sitting here for just a couple minutes while I cleaned up from making the egg salad, my deviled egg salad stuff. But so you can see it here, it's nice and golden on the top and golden around the edges. Don't mind my dirty pot holders, but what we are going to do is I have used a sharp knife and I have cut it into 4 squares. What I do with that is I'm going to take my old pot holder and I'm going to go around the edge with a kind of a flexible spatula. I'm going to do that just to make sure it's not stuck anywhere. Then I'm going to get this over to the other side so I can transfer it right to here for cooling. If it's ready, I'm going to check to see if it's ready. And most of it's ready. So sometimes in the middle there can be a still kind of eggy spot that hasn't quite cooked all the way through yet. So that's what I'm checking for. Now it's been 30 minutes, so we'll see. So I take that half out. And as you can see, it's actually, there's nothing, it's all cooked. So it's a little eggy, but it will kind of finish cooking through and kind of dry out a little bit. Not like over dry, but it'll not be quite so, I don't know, eggy, whatever. But yeah, so I'm gonna take these out, and I just take them out 1/4 at a time. Because I don't want them to get, you know, too, I guess, sweaty by sitting in there. I want them to dry out just a touch because of how much egg there is. That's, yeah, there's a little bit, but it's just whatever, you know, the little tiny bit that's not coming out of the pan, so it will be just fine. There we go. Ooh, it's still hot. So those are going to sit here and cool for at least 10 to 15 minutes. I'm not serving them right now, but I want to have them cool at least 10 to 15 minutes before I wrap them in and kind of almost in, not encase, I don't know, just kind of fold them up in paper towels, just enough to kind of get any sort of moisture away so it doesn't get soggy for later. And once they're cooled enough, then I'll put them in a plastic bag until we have dinner tonight. And then what I would do, excuse me, is I've actually had, the first time I had these, I had a burger in between 2 of these. I couldn't get my mouth around it. It was so good though. But you can actually take a knife and cut down the middle right in here, thickness wise, make 2 pieces, and it is plenty for holding a burger, or if you wanted to do like a ham sandwich, something like that. And then you can have 2 of them if you want. It just depends. But a whole serving is half of this entire batch. So we've got 1 serving here, 1 serving here. And as long as you cut it even. I suck at that, but whatever. And the macros, the approximate macros, now I'm not going to quote exacts, just because if you use different ingredients than I do, or, you know, mismeasure, whatever, or if you make it sweet and add the cocoa powder, or if you're going to add anything else on there that I did not add today, it's definitely going to change it also. Excuse me. But the approximate macros for 1 serving, so for half of this batch, so for these guys here, you will be looking at 25 grams of fat, 24 grams of protein, and 2 net carbs. That's it, you guys. 2 net carbs. And so that is what you're looking at for your macros on that, and 342 calories. If I did a full serving of, now this feels like even more food, and I mean, it kind of is, but if I did an entire serving of just the 90-second bread, I'd be looking at over 400 calories. I think more than 440 calories or something like that. And then the fat is way higher, the protein's way less. So this is what's fitting for what I need right now. And I like the texture of it, that it's like, seriously, it is, let's see if I can get this to focus. It is legit bread, you guys. It tastes amazing. You can split it in half and toast the 2 sides, and you don't even need butter, because the butter that went into here, you can taste it. It is so delicious when you toast it. But I mean, it's super, super good. It's like a King's Hawaiian roll for your burger, because it has that little bit of sweetness to it. It is our favorite thing, so that's why I've been making it so much. I figured I'd share it with you guys. So, yeah, tell me what you think down below, and let me know if you try it and what combinations you try. Like if you do just it as a cinnamon bread, or you could do it as a excuse me, you can do it as a lemon poppy seed loaf, or do it as muffins. If you did this as muffins instead of the bread loaf, or instead of in the 8x8 pan, you would be looking at, it would make 10 muffins, and you would need a a big enough muffin tin for at least the 12 muffin tin, because it, like I said, it makes 10. And for the muffin tins, you actually only fill them halfway. Don't fill them up to the top. Don't fill them more than halfway. You may have a surprise issue because they can rise pretty well sometimes, especially in the muffin tins. It seems to, like, I don't know, they were like growing bigger. I don't know, it was weird. But so yeah, so definitely fill them only halfway in the muffin tins. 10 muffins out of it, and cook them at 350 for 15 to maybe 17 minutes. That's really about it. So the muffins, they do cook faster. This was at 30 minutes. You can do 35 depending on how your oven handles it. But I hope you like the recipe, guys, and I hope you try it. Let me know what you think down below. Subscribe, like, comment, share, and I will talk to you guys next time. Laters. And one more thing about these, either the muffins or the bread, you guys, you want to make sure that you store them in the refrigerator if you're not going to eat them the same day. But seriously, you guys, they smell so good. And for reals, look at that. So good. I want to eat them now, but it's not time. All right, guys, later.